know you will do this because you love me. And come pick me up.
We're here at Neiman Marcus for the trunk show for KaufmanFranco, and we're here with Isaac Franco. They're one of my favorite design duos, so I thought we'd take this opportunity to introduce the brand and to ask a couple of questions. Isaac, thank you for joining us, and I first off want to ask about the red carpet. I was really impressed last year with your red carpet looks for Taylor Swift at the MTV Awards and at the Grammys, and with Halle Berry's dress at the Golden Globes. That was a spectacular dress. Describe to me a little bit about the process of people coming to you for the red carpet.
Usually they come through a stylist on most occasions. In the brief instances, they've called us themselves, and we've accommodated their needs. But with both Taylor Swift and Halle Berry, they both came to their stylist, and we've worked with them for quite a while now.
Okay, Halle's dress. I thought if I had to pick my favorite, I think that was a pretty wow of a dress. But that was not from the current collection, or the collection that's current at the time. Where did that dress come from?
Correct, it came from our very first season, and it was a very intricate dress, and I was so happy that someone like Halle got to wear it, because it was all inset of lace throughout the whole dress, small insets of lace, and she has the body that can really pull off.
I mean, if anybody could pull off that dress,
she did it.
She did it. It was amazing. For Taylor, it's interesting that she's young, and the looks were very grown up and sophisticated, but in the right kind of way. What's the challenge with working with somebody young for the red carpet as opposed to working with an established star?
Well, it is a challenge because she is so young, and when we first started dressing her, she was only 19, and you don't want to make her look like she's wearing her mother's clothes.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
She definitely has a specific dress in mind, or a look that she's trying to create. So, you know, we would work with that, and when it was something off of the collection, like the
first dress at the MTV Awards, right?
That was off the collection, and she looked great in it. We had to tweak it. She decided the day before that's what she wanted to wear. So that was easy. But then when it came to the other award show, when we designed the blue dress for the Grammys, that was something she came specifically to us for. She knew she wanted blue.
Okay.
No matter how much we would say, are you sure you don't want something in the gray, taupey, silver, whatever
that you do so well?
Exactly. She's like, no, I really want blue. So then we worked on it, and we did a dress that still had our name on it. Exactly, our aesthetic. You know, and Ken got to work with her very closely, and he would go to LA, and they did many fittings. And it really worked out well, and it worked for her.
No, I thought that, I mean, of the people that did the red carpet in 2010, I thought those three looks were, I think, outstanding.
Thank you.
So that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this interview. How important is the red carpet to you as a company? As a source of, I'll just leave it at that. Well, how important is the red carpet?
It was very organic. It started off very organically for us. We had people calling us. We didn't have a PR company working with us, and then slowly it started happening more and more. We hired a PR company in LA to help us, and we felt that the red carpet was a very nice way of getting our foot out there, and it's worked well. But it's not what we're concentrating on, especially now. We feel like there are other parts of the business that we need to be concentrating on, and I think we don't want to be pigeonholed into being evening wear designers, because we're not. We do a full-fledged sportswear collection.
And very well.
Thank you. So we want people to know that, because really it's only 10% of the collection, the evening wear.
Right, but it does generate a disproportionate amount of the press.
Correct.
So, and it's a good thing you do it well. Speaking about the collection, you don't present in a formal way 2 times a year on the runway, Fashion Week, and that kind of situation. Explain to me a little bit about what the thinking behind that is.
When we first started the company, we felt that it was something we would eventually do. It's a very costly endeavor to have a fashion show. And I think there's new way of doing it. Ken and I both feel is the runway the most modern way of showing it. So we're still battling that idea. We would like to have a presentation in the next year. We're planning on one, but the format is what we're kind of contemplating.
Okay. There's been a lot of talk with luxury brands and some not so luxury brands about using social media to broadcast the collections immediately. And which then also brings up the point, doesn't that also make the runway presentation irrelevant? What's your, have you given much thought to social media and how maybe you want to present the collection and skip the runway part? And because
well, exactly, because that's what we've been talking about, to be honest, for the last 7 years, because we didn't feel the runway was so relevant in the beginning. And why shouldn't everyone have something broadcasted on the iPad or on the iPhone? And,
exactly.
So we've contemplated that, but at the same time, I think people seeing it up front and personal is important. The texture, the way it feels, the way the fabric drapes. So it's a battle for us.
But then the buyer can do that in the showroom too, which is
correct.
Which is, I mean, if you're in the back row of a fabulous $1 million show, you're not seeing the texture and the pattern, and you still have to go up and take a look and take a look at the. And
that's really what we're spending our time doing. We take the collection to Paris twice a year, and we show the collection there in a beautiful showroom in the Trocadero section, and
yeah, I mean, great. I see collections on the internet or whatever, and then when the trunk shows come through, they look entirely different in person. So you do have to see them. I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts a little bit on not the fascination, but the storyline in the media right now about the creativity and fashion and the craziness of the business. Galliano, McQueen's suicide, DeCarnan being fired at Balmain because apparently he's having some psychological problems. Let's be generously called psychological problems. What's your take on the business and the strains that are imposed on creativity every 6 months to produce something new? I remember Franco Moschino very famously talked about the fashion system and how by that he meant that people don't necessarily have a brand new fabulous idea every 6 months when the calendar strikes for Fashion Week.
The calendar for designers is the bane of our existence, I believe. Ken and I are always battling the calendar, and it is tiresome, to say that you have to design a collection and it has to be done this date and you have to be on time, because it's a business. I mean, fashion is a business, and it's stressful and it's difficult because you don't always have that great idea that's just ready to flow out of your pencil. I always say, why don't we just take a break every 6-7 years, and no one should ship any clothing to stores, and we should just start fresh, and everyone will come to the stores and be ready to buy something, that following year. And we can go to the Maldives for a year.
Don't tell them.
I can't. No, let's not tell the retailers that. But that's my thought. But it is stressful.
That actually would be maybe we could find a calendar where everybody alternates. Everyone skips a year, just like a travel.
But you won't lose floor space?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that sounds good.
One designer takes a break, and then next year it's your fault, your turn to take a break.
I like that idea.
I know you'll do this because you love me, and come pick me up.